Ladies, I'm here on the show here to recap my second of 3 NFL Wildcard games for this Sunday. Are we gonna get a good game, man? Like, this game sucked. I mean, I guess it was close in the fourth quarter, not like 6 points, but this game just sucked, man. It was just boring. The Packers just struggled all game. Besides that drive where they got a touchdown, they just didn't do shit, man. They got a field goal and a touchdown. And, Jordan Love, man, we might need to have a freaking conversation about this Packers team. Like, yeah, they probably weren't expected to win this game against the Eagles. Eagles at home, and one of the few best teams in the NFC, but, like, you can't just keep using the excuse, oh, this team's young. I can understand the injuries, because there was a lot of injuries. All the receivers got hurt. Freaking Jaden Reed, Dubes. Like, most of their freaking receivers got hurt, but you can't just use that excuse every year. Oh, the team's young. They technically were worse than last year. They made the divisional last year and had the 49ers on the ropes. This year, they're out in the wild card. I know this team just wasn't as good as last year, in my opinion. Jordan Love has took a step back. Last year today, 20 of 33, took 33 throws to get over 200 yards, had 212 yards, no touchdowns, had 3 interceptions, all 3 of them were bad. Just a really poor game from Jordan Love, I thought. Just not much offensively outside of Josh Jacobs. 18 runs, 81 yards, 4.5 a carry. 1 touchdown for Josh Jacobs, 3 catches, 40 yards. A hell of a season from Josh Jacobs, and he legit carried him in this game. Hell of a year, like 1,329 yards and 15 or 16 touchdowns. Josh Jacobs, like, legit carried this team, man. He had a hell of a year. And it was one hell of a nightmare for him. Like, Jordan Love was off. His top 3 receivers got hurt. 1, Christian Watson, in the last game of the regular season. 2 of them hurt. Playing with his 3rd left guard of the game. And just having thrown to guys and he has no in-game chemistry with. 4 turnovers. He just couldn't have gone worse. They just had no chance. I mean, they kept it close, but when you turn the ball over 3 or 4 times, they turned it over 4 times. The opening kickoff, which has led to a touchdown. They threw 3 interceptions. They had a 4th down failure, which should have been a first down if Jordan Love throws an accurate ball. He just wasn't accurate all day. Jordan Love might just be a mediocre quarterback. Maybe. Like, Jordan Love was just off, and he wasn't good. But I mentioned that, but I'm not going to lessen the responsibility of Jordan Love. He got paid that big contract in the offseason. Remember, he got that big extension. I talked about Justin Herbert. I'm going to give the same criticism to Jordan Love in this game. And don't blame the refs. The Packers just weren't good enough today. They just weren't. He might be a crap quarterback. I don't know if he's a crap quarterback, but he's just mid this year. He wasn't that good. He's kind of been off ever since he signed that big contract. What was that contract he signed? Well, let me look it up here. Jordan Love contract. I believe he got paid a 4-year, $220 million extension. And, I mean, I think Jordan Love, he's just a mediocre quarterback. Like, he really stunk it up, man. Like, these QB contracts are crazy for this production in the postseason. He needs to show huge improvement next year to justify the kind of money he's got. 4 years, $220 million. Like, he sucked this season. Simple. Packers were basically forced to pay him a ridiculous amount of money, and he didn't live up to the contract. Like, he kind of stat padded against some awful teams, but it was terrible in every big game. And he hasn't been that great in big games besides the Cowboys game in the wild card, which anybody could have fucking dotted up against that defense. Guess we really owe him a percentage of his contract, but I don't see a good contract here, man, with Jordan Love unless he shows big improvement next season. I do not see this being a good contract. $55 million a year. maybe that historic 8-game span shouldn't just be rewarded with a big contract extension. But that's just my opinion, though. I don't think he's a bad quarterback. He's just mid, and like he's kind of earned the questioning of his contract these final 4 weeks. Prove us wrong when you reset the market with your contract. You shouldn't be the reason your team is going home early. And today, Jordan Love was the main reason. The turnovers, the 3 picks. I mean, that fumble didn't help the start of the game. That automatically gives the Eagles 7 points because they were going to score, and they did score off of it to Jahan Dodson. But the offensive line was terrible. As well, Nolan Smith Jr. had 2 sacks. He just absolutely destroyed that defensive line. Quenya Mitchell had an interception, the rookie corner. So did Darius Slade Jr. And Zach Bond had 3 interceptions. Nolan Smith Jr. with 2 sacks. They were getting a lot of pressure on Jordan Love. Jake Elliott made all 3 of his field goals. They weren't perfect offensively, I'll say. They weren't perfect. I mean, Jalen Hurts, his first game back, I figured 3 weeks he hadn't played, I think, that he would kind of have a bit of rust. 13 of 21, 131 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 6 runs, 36 yards. I figured 3 weeks off, he wouldn't have a great game. But he has to be better, though. Come next week. He has to be better. The defense was phenomenal, and they gutted that one out. But Jalen Hurts has to play better going forward. But Saquon Barkley, 25 runs, 119 yards, 4.8 yards per carry for Saquon Barkley. Not a bad playoff game. First playoff game for Saquon. 119 yards. And Kenneth Gainwell, 14 yards rushing, receiving. Devontae Smith, 4 catches, 55 yards. Dallas Goedert, 4 catches, 47 yards, a touchdown. Hit an incredible 2 sophomores for a touchdown. Jahan Dodson, 1 catch, 11 yards, and a touchdown. And A.J. Brown, only 1 catch for 10 yards. How bored do you have to be to read a freaking book on the sideline? Yes, this dude was reading a book and said he likes to read. Come on, man. Talking about reading a book on the damn sideline. But yeah, that's all the offensive stats. I thought that was funny, though. The Eagles 15-3 going to the divisional round. They actually got outgained 302 to 290 offensively. Packers were 7-13 on 3rd down. Eagles were 2 of 11. Each team had 2 sacks allowed. The Eagles even punted 3 more times. Packers had 8 penalties. Eagles had 7. Time of possession's close, 30 to 29, but the difference was the 4 turnovers. They lose that fumble at the start of the game. Then they score a touchdown, 7 points. They throw 3 interceptions, a failed 4th down. The Eagles defense has done a phenomenal job. I didn't think the Packers defense played that bad, to be honest. It's just their offense can never really get anything going. And then McManus, he misses that. He was 1 of 2 on field goals. He misses a field goal. A 38-yarder, which would have made it 10-3. I believe it was in the 2nd quarter. But yeah, I mean, the defense didn't play that bad. Rashawn Gary had a sack. McDuffie and Wooden each had 1. The defense wasn't the problem. They just couldn't get anything going offensively. Receiving, Jaden Reed, 4 catches, 46 yards. Dontavian Wicks, 2 catches, 39 yards. Manuel Wilson, 1 catch, 23 yards. Tucker Kraft, 5 catches, 26 yards. Also had 2 runs for 10 yards. Melton, 1 catch for 16 yards. Dukes, 2 catches, 13 yards. He had an injury landing on his damn head. Hopefully he's okay. Another concussion. And Chris Brooks, 2 catches for 9 yards. And Malik Heath, 0 catches for 0 yards. This one never even had a chance. That play on 4th down never even had a chance. And he threw it too high. Jordan Love in that 4th down just threw it too damn high. He wasn't going to catch it. It's not like he's a 7-foot wide receiver. But yeah, the Packers in their season 11-7. It's 3, like what? You can't just say, oh, the team's young. You got to be able to get. They made it to the divisional round last year, so they really took a step back. So I'm not really impressed with this season from the Packers. Like, yeah, they had a lot of close games, but I'm not really impressed. Or if I'm a Packers fan, I'm not satisfied because they made the divisional round last year. They took a step back and losing in the wild card. And most of the big games they lost this season. They had a big game against the Vikings, and the Packers early in the season they lost. The Lions games were close. Well, the first one they dominated. The second one was close, and the Lions won. Vikings, like, they had a lot of, they kind of really won the games they should, and some games kind of 50-50 they lost. So I'm not really satisfied with this season if I'm a Packers fan. But yeah, 22-10, Eagles win. So they go into the divisional round. That's really all I gotta say about this game. Until next time out, peace, and I'll see you guys for the Bucks Commanders game.